Hello and welcome back to a new video of Nimby Rails. And today I want to tackle something a little bit more special. In the last comments under the last videos I saw or I was reading a question about ferries. At that time I thought, hey, they might be a big issue in the way that they were meant. What I was asked is if I would connect ferries, for example, between Calais and England. Or, for example, there are, if I'm correct, ferries between Tallinn and Helsinki, Tallinn, Stockholm for sure as well. And also in other regions like here, there's also a ferry in real life. And I thought, yes, I have tried that in the past. That's nothing for this playthrough. Because ferries in Nimby Rails, they have to be very tactically. What that means is I will show it to you at Gdansk or at Gdynia. There are a lot of ferries in real life between or in this bay area, and also from Gdansk and Gdynia leaving, I think, towards Sweden, maybe Finland, maybe somewhere in the Baltics. So I thought that would be a big issue, because when you place a ferry, there are two ways that this can go. Option number one, for example, between Gdansk and Hel, or between Gdynia and Hel, the ferry is faster. What happens when the ferry is faster? Well, if the intercity, for example, and the ferry, they leave at the same time, and the ferry is faster, then of course you know what is going to happen. All the passengers are going to take the ferry. And we definitely don't want that. We want to have the passengers going around, not through the water, but around, so that they take the trains, that they bring us the money that we need. So to fix that, option number one, make the ferry more expensive, so that the people take it because it's faster, but they have to pay more. Option number two, and that is where I mean that it gets tactical, is that you let the train depart, for example, from Gdynia, and then, I don't know, quite some time later the ferry. And then, for example, the train goes and arrives at Hel, and then 5 to 10 minutes later the ferry arrives from Gdynia. That means that you have a ferry that is slower, you have the train around that is in the view of the passenger faster because they are coming from Gdansk, for example, and they stop at Gdynia and they see, okay, with the ferry, if I would switch to the ferry right now, I would be there 10 minutes later. So they stay on the train, take the intercity to Hel. On a small scale, that sounds very logical. But when we zoom out and you see the large scale, then it gets a bit difficult. For example, what would happen if I construct a ferry from Tallinn to Stockholm? The realistic answer to that is every single person who wants to go from, for example, Daugavpils, from Riga, from Tartu, from Narva, and who wants to go towards Stockholm and on maybe Örebro, Karlstad, Oslo, so the relatively straight line to the left towards the west, they would all go to Tallinn and they could all want and try to take the ferry. So big ferries in the safe are, at least for now, a very big no-go. Maybe in the future when I actually manage to have a ferry from Tallinn to Stockholm that is slower than going all the way around. And when you know how big this is, it won't happen. So what I think, or what I thought is, why not try it on a bit more local scale? And that is something that I have tried here, between Fromborg and Krynica Morska. I hope I pronounce it wrong. Yes, I hope I pronounce it wrong. I hope I pronounce it right. And yeah, you can already see there is a dotted line over the water, because there are mods about it. There are mods about the thematic or about the topic of ferries, because until now I haven't told you that they are not in the base game. Ferries are not in the base game. So when I go to tracks, I go to append a new track and we go to show all. There are sea route markers in the Steam workshop, and they look exactly like this. Without the global canvas mod, they look like this, for example, just so that you have seen them. And they look quite interesting because they work like normal train tracks. So you have to place signals, you have to place, if you need them, one-way signals, which look quite funny when they're like somewhere in the middle of the sea. And you also have to place depots. So in this way, or in this situation, yeah, they by the way, they turn blue. I forgot to tell that they turn blue once you build them. They're white when they are a blueprint, and they're blue when they are built. So they also need depots. So basically you pretend like this is a pier. Okay, you don't have to pretend it. This is a pier where they can dock the ship, for example, and it will sleep there at the night. I have decided to go for 2 ferries who will go and basically, yeah, who will be on the line. One will spend the night on this side of the line, the other one on the other, and I hope they meet somewhere in the middle where I have double tracked it or double sea route marked it. Yeah, and that's basically how you can get ferries into Nimby Rails. It's quite awesome when you experiment for the first time, and it is super awesome. I can only show it to you. For example, Hamburg in Germany. Just go on Google Maps or other maps and check out how many ferries they have. It's beautiful. Or check out Amsterdam, how many ferries they have. Or also Rotterdam and other cities that are very close to the sea. They have ferries here and there. Also, there are a lot of river ferries. For example, in the region of Bremen and here Hamburg, there are ferries that cross over the river. There's one quite famous in Germany. That's the Brunsbüttel ferry. Or is it Brunsbüttel? No, it's Glückstadt. So here you can see, here is the ferry Glückstadt. And also here is the ferry part for Wischhafen. And in the summer, every single day, when you have the radio on, you hear, oh, there's 2 hours of delay on the ferry because other people want to go over the ferry and not drive through the city of Hamburg, which is pure hell. So I think most Germans who have spent at least a little bit of time in the summer in northern Germany have heard of that ferry. It's hell. But I don't want to have hell on the ferry. I want to have a nice, beautiful connection. And the nice thing about this, before I do it, I have tags. So let's go to Poland. Let's do a new track. Yes. Let's do a new tag. Let's call it Ferry. And then we can go over here. We can go to the train line. I want to clone this one. So clone selected line, and then go to the tags, go to Poland, remove it from train, put it to ferry, and mark it with an F for ferry. Then clone it again, because there will be more ferries in Poland that I want to do work on or to construct in the future. Then we go to the trains, we take the blue for Poland, and then super simple, because ferries work that simple, at least most of them. Yeah, let's do it like that. In this way, we already have set up the ferry. Now it's only scheduling, and I'll do that together with the other lines, but this is a super simple way of getting in ferries. And I just wanted to show it to you because I got motivated to create ferries. Now I had to share it with you. So where this is in, yes, you can already see it here in the region. I have set up a few lines and I want to go through them with you as well, just for a second. I didn't do too much, I didn't have too much time. I hope the weather gets worse or I get to somewhere so that I'm forced to stay inside to play on Nimby Rails. But yes, when we go to Gdansk itself, here on the timetable you can already see we have the Intercity Express to the capital city of Poland. We have the regional trains to Malbork, and we have the Intercity to Gdynia, and later also the one spot already reserved that is going to Hale. Anyway, one day I will look up how to pronounce that small Hale place there. But until then, it's Hell. So yes, I've set up the regional train to Malbork. And it's quite lovely. You have already seen it, how it gets overtaken at Tczew, how it stops at Malbork and waits for the 2 intercities to pass before going back. And I have expanded that a little bit. We don't want to display passing by trains, we only want to have the stopping trains. I have 2 trains per hour from Malbork to Gdansk, from Malbork to Elbląg as well. And they meet here, this big block here, between 31 and 39. And 30 and 40. Both trains are sitting here in the middle on platforms 4 and 5, and they just wait. So if I speed up the time a little bit, let's go to 30. And the 2 Intercity Expresses passing through, and you can see both the regional trains, the one from Elbląg, in this case with 100 people, the train from Malbork, towards Malbork from Gdansk, also with 100 people roughly on board. And then they meet in the station, and then let's go to platforms, let's go to group by waiting lines up. So you see all the passengers are waiting for the Intercity. So Malbork is basically, or very efficiently, the place where we take passengers from the region and get them into the intercities and then carry them off. So the trains itself, here you can see the one, I think this one is the one to Gdansk, yes, with 21 people, the one to Elbląg with 102 people, so quite a lot. And there are more people to Elbląg than to Gdansk because they're coming from the south. And currently they only have one way from the south to Malbork and then towards the region of Elbląg. So that's why there are so many in there. I haven't set up the 2 lines from Olsztyn, so to Elbląg and Braniewo. I will do that later together with the ferry setup. And yeah, when we look at Elbląg, you can see 3 lines are done. 2 of them are going to Braniewo, 1 of them goes to Malbork. And also here, when I zoom in a lot, you can see Elbląg, Malbork and Elbląg Braniewo are timed, and then Elbląg Braniewo, this one's also timed. The only issue is the one line to Braniewo all the way single track, so 1 train every 2 hours. The other line via the coast is mostly single tracked, partially double tracked, and there I got 2 trains an hour in, so no 1 train per hour that way. There are more people who go by the coastal route, and that will work well together with the new ferry, because when I go from Bork, you can see it here. No, it's actually not from Bork. It's Turkmieko. There, they stop at the same time, or nearly the same time. So that's the passing station. From Bork with the ferry will be interesting if I manage to set it up that it arrives, for example, at 58 and leaves at 20 or so that the people can walk between it. I won't make a swan station. I want the pier and the train station to be separated, but yeah, that one looks good. So it's a little bit of progress. I thought I'd share it with the ferries, and I set up the ferry very fast. And then that is it. That was a brand new way to send your passengers from A to B, and you don't have to bridge over all the water when you try to recreate a ferry. You can do it with ferries itself. So I hope you learned something new today, and I will see you on Friday for a little bit of a longer video, so where we actually focus on finishing something bigger than just a single ferry line. See you in the next one, and bye bye. Oh, and thank you for watching, and thank you for your support.